I want to thank everybody for being here, and I want to thank Spotswood for hosting us, and for over the course of some very difficult times over the past 6 months being part of the solution rather than being part of the problem. And I think all of us realize how difficult these times are. And Commissioner Schundler is absolutely right that we have heard, as we've traveled across the state over and over again, whether it's in person or whether it's on programs like I did last night on 101.5, people asking all the time about why they believe administrative salaries are so out of control and not rational, given the size of the task that might be before an individual administrator. And so in response and reaction to that and to the difficult times that we're in, the Commissioner and I have been working together with his staff and with folks throughout the state over the course of the last number of months to see what it was that we could do regarding administrative superintendent pay. Now, since 2001, we've seen superintendent pay rise 46% on average since 2001. That's more than twice the rate of inflation during that time. It's a higher increase than teacher compensation has increased from a percentage basis over that time, or overall educational spending in total. The ultimate cost to New Jersey taxpayers is over $100 million for that level of increase. And what we want to do is to continue to make sure that we put all the dollars that we have available to us, or at least as many as possible, into the classroom to help kids learn and take as much of that money out of those things that don't directly contribute to classroom achievement by kids. And so, as Bret laid out in a general sense, we're putting together what we believe is a rational sliding scale of compensation based upon the number of students in your district that you're being asked to supervise. And so, as you've seen in the materials that we've released to you, if your district is from 0 to 250, your maximum salary would be $120,000, scaling all the way up to districts that are 3,000 to 10,000 with a maximum salary of $175,000. There are 16 districts that have over 10,000 students, and for those 16 districts, the Commissioner of Education, in consultation with the executive county superintendents, would be dealing with how compensation would work for those in those 16 very unusually sized districts. So that no superintendent in the state of New Jersey would be getting a base salary of more than $175,000 a year. But as Bret mentioned, we would also allow for a merit pay component in this, because again, I think everything we do in education should be based on the achievement of children and teaching children. And those who are putting together school systems that are teaching children very well and demonstrably well, they should be rewarded for that. And those who aren't should no longer be rewarded for running school systems that are not giving our children the kind of results that they need. Currently, just so you can get some perspective, 70% of the superintendents in New Jersey earn more than the proposed salary cap. So we're talking about a significant savings that will be accomplished here once we institute this cap. We also want to make sure that we reward success, as I said, and have merit pay available. And there will be merit pay available based on both objective criteria and more subjective criteria. But we will set out, the Commissioner of Education of the state will set out those quantitative and qualitative merit criteria. We'll work with the executive county superintendents to allow a district to add one district-requested merit criterion to their formula, so that if there's something particular in your district that you're trying to accomplish, that the school board says this is something we want the superintendent to accomplish and be incentivized to accomplish, we want that to be part of the mix as well. So this entire solution is not a Trenton-based solution, but it's also a solution that comes from each individual school district and can be individualized. Then, of the list of potential criteria that we give, we also want there to be local control on that, because the Commissioner and I believe very strongly in making sure that school decisions are made in the main at the local level. So you'll be able to judge superintendents on 5 criteria, 3 quantitative, objective criteria, and 2 qualitative. And from the list that's provided by the Department of Education, the school districts pick which of those are most important to them. They get to select how they want to judge their superintendent and his or her success in their school district. And the executive county superintendents would work with them to make sure that that's something that's appropriate, and would work in consultation with them. And these superintendent merit stipends or merit bonuses would be able to be equal to up to 15% of the overall salary that a superintendent pays. So it would be a significant merit bonus that could be attained if they meet all the criteria. But this would be a non-pensionable portion of it. We don't want to encourage people just to be giving out merit bonuses in order to increase somebody's ability to get a bigger pension. We do want people to be compensated for the achievement they do year after year. And so those can be paid, but they're not going to be pensionable. The base salary will be the thing that will be pensionable to try to, again, get more control over pension costs in New Jersey at every level. So this is the beginning not only of educational reform, but a part of the toolkit that we're going to give to school board members to be able to begin to control their costs both on the pension side and on the salary side. In the end, this is about bringing equity to the system. Now, for each and every one of us, we want the best education for our children that we can possibly provide for them. And New Jerseyans have been the most generous citizens of any state in America over paying for that type of education. But we have to provide it now. And we can't any longer overpay for it. And so that's why we came here to Spotswood, not only because they're performing, as the commissioner mentioned, extraordinarily well, and their children are really achieving here in Spotswood. The leadership of the superintendent as well, for being part of the solution during these difficult times, is something that's extraordinarily commendable and was not mirrored across, as you know, the entire state. And so coming and recognizing his contributions and the contributions of everyone in the school district to improving the quality of education and to making sure that we do so in a way that's cost effective for the people who pay the bills in this town is something that we wanted to highlight and commend. You know, there are going to be lots of tough decisions that need to be made, and there are going to be some people who say that this is unfair. We're not going to interfere with anybody's current contract. So if they have a contract, we're not asking people to break contracts. But when those contracts expire, the new sliding scale must be adhered to and will be enforced by the Commissioner of Education. And so it's a new day for superintendent pay in New Jersey, and I candidly believe this will lead a trend across the country because everyone knows this is right to do. But people have been afraid to take the first step and say that we're going to be the leaders in this. New Jersey is no longer afraid of being a leader in a whole bunch of the very difficult fiscal issues that confront every state in America. And if we have been a model because of what we've done so far with our budget across the state, and many governors, when I was in Boston this past weekend at the National Governors Association, told us that we have been a model for them in terms of what they're going to try to accomplish. We hope to be, first and foremost, better stewards of the education for the students and families here in New Jersey, better stewards for the mothers and fathers and caregivers of their tax dollars that they spend on education, and if that also allows us to be a leader in the country in showing the way to providing quality education at a more efficient cost, then that would be an extra added benefit as well. So I want to thank the Commissioner. He and I worked hard together on this, and he brought, and his staff brought, great creative ideas to the table on how to bring superintendent pay under control in a way that would make sure we keep quality people and incentivize them to continue to do well. So I want to commend Commissioner Schundler and his staff for all the work they put into this. This was a number of meetings that we had together, number of different ideas that were floated around the table and considered, and ultimately this is our judgment about what is best to move forward with regarding superintendent pay in the state. And we hope that this sets an example too for everyone else involved in the educational system and in the public sector in New Jersey, that everybody needs to be part of the solution and part of the shared sacrifice. And so I again want to thank the superintendent for his leadership as an educator in the state of New Jersey, and also for his hospitality in hosting us here today and allowing us to come to make this announcement here in Spotswood.